Good evening, everybody. My name is Joey Lott. I'm the worship pastor here. I'm excited to share another history behind a carol. And tonight it is December the 24th. It's Christmas Eve. And as we are all celebrating in our worship services tonight, we have this special carol that we're going to share with you. And it is entitled Infant Holy, Infant Lowly. Infant holy, infant lowly, for a bed is cattle stall. Oxen lowing, little knowing, Christ the babe is Lord of all. Swift are winging angels singing, Noels ringing, tidings bringing, Christ the babe is Lord of all. The hymn-singing traditions in Eastern Europe countries are rich and diverse, but virtually unknown in hymnals published in the United States. We have a large selection of hymns from German sources, for example, through the translations of John Wesley, who was especially interested in Moravian hymns in the 18th century, and Catherine Winkworth in the 19th century. To a lesser degree, hymns translated from French, Italian, Spanish, and a few from Scandinavian countries are represented as well. During the 20th century, the lack of good singing translations from Eastern European countries was further exacerbated by world wars, the rise of the Third Reich, and the Iron Curtain. Manuscripts of Polish sacred song date back to at least the 13th century in the Catholic Church, even though these songs may not have been initially influenced by the plain song used in the offices and mass settings of the church. Local musical variations soon influenced the performance of these. These seem to have developed because regional synods in the church encouraged the use of Polish rather than the standard Latin characteristics of the church in Rome. The use of vernacular language produces changes in the music to accommodate the natural prosody and rhythm of that language. Throughout the 17th century and those that followed, regional hymn collections were published, each with distinct local musical styles, making it difficult to develop a uniformly known body of congregational song throughout Poland. Polish hymn scholar Daniel Nies describes some of the general characteristics of Polish sacred song. Daniel says, Polish religious songs are a distinct repertory of congregational songs composed in the vernacular and in a musical idiom derived from Polish folk music. They're typically strophic or monophonic and are characterized by asymmetrical time signatures and ambiguous modality with commonly oscillates between major, minor, and modal qualities. The United Methodist hymnal begins with the initial 2/8 notes as pickup notes to the first complete measure. Some other hymnals start the hymn with 2/8 notes on the first strong beat or the downbeat of the initial measure, and this perhaps indicates the asymmetrical ambiguity of this tune. The first choice feels more natural in English, but undoubtedly, the latter fits Polish prosody better. It is no accident that one of the few Polish hymns we have in English is a Christmas carol. Daniel continues and says, perhaps the most well-known and beloved part of Polish religious song repertory is its superb koledy, or Christmas carols. These, if any, are the most likely of the Polish hymns to be found in English translations and are certainly among the finest Christmas songs from any tradition. Originally, the term koledy was probably derived from the Latin calendae or canende, which literally referred to the first day of the month. In the Slavic uses of the term broadened to include the first day of the year, the winter solstice, Christmas, as well as New Year's Day. Not all koledy would be Christian, though the Christian carols are certainly a part of the broader tradition. A koledy would be sung in conjunction with the visit of a priest to a home and eventually, in Slavic traditions, walking from house to house. In other words, Christmas caroling. The carolers, called Kolodensi, perform in neighborhoods between Christmas and the Feast of Epiphany, carrying a star on a pole in a nativity scene. Dressed in folk costumes as angels, shepherds, and kings, the carolers enact nativity plays with a comedic touch, and they sing. The term is more generic now and can refer to singing any Christmas carol in Polish. Edith Margaret Gellibrand Reed was a British musician and playwright, and her education included study in the Guildhall of Music in London, and she also was an associate in the Royal College of Organists, where she assisted Percy Scholes, the compiler of the first edition of the influential reference work, The Oxford Companion to Music in 1938, in editing educational materials. She also wrote 2 mystery plays, Christmastide, a nativity play in 1932, and With Jockey to the Fair, a May Day play, published in 1936, as well as a reference work, Story Lives of the Great Composers in 1925. She is now known for her translation of the Polish carol, which she found in the hymn collection called Spiedzwęsek Pięci Kol Cielen. And I'm sorry, I butchered that. That's a very difficult title to say. Though its origins may be as early as the 13th and 14th centuries. Her translation was published in the periodic Music and Youth, Volume 1, Number 12, in December of 1921. From there, it spread to hymnals and increased in popularity. Because the music is stately and in 3/4 meter, which means that there's 3 beats in a measure, and the quarter note we get the beat. Some have called this the first polonaise, one of many Polish dances with folk roots. Polish pianist Frédéric Chopin popularized the polonaise. While this comparison may not be accurate, it is accurate that the general characterization of W. Zloby Lazy would be similar to one of the most important national dances in Poland. And that is the history behind Infant Holy, Infant Lowly. Hope you have a great night and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas celebration tomorrow with your family and your friends.